Hello, everyone. So I'm going to read on Joe Biden, and my intention is to bring through the truth as to how severe his situation is, how he's going to do. Will we see recovery? If so, for how long? I tend to get like past, present, and future this way, or I think I'll set the intention for it to be that. So the past will reveal, what's been happening presently, how he's doing, and then of course, future is the future. That's pretty easy to understand, I'm sure. And I'm only looking at health. I'm not looking at other aspects with the meanings of the cards, okay? There. Okay, so with the tower, on the level of health, now this is very different than the tower in the tarot. So, this one has to do with, on the level of health, his, trips to the hospital, his trips to different clinics, and trying to get a firm, solid diagnosis by someone who's very, very adept, very, very, very high level, right? So someone who's definitely in the authority of their profession. So I think this would be this would be more like the clinic that he goes to. With the heart, let me make sure I get these lined. I need to be over this way, all I can tell. With the heart, we're bringing through the care that he's receiving. We're bringing through that he's open to others, and that he's going through a period of forgiving. He's very. He's always been a very religious man, and he's going through, it's heartbreaking on one level for him, but he's open to the help from others. He's loving himself, and he is, what's hanging over him is this, okay, I got to love myself, care for myself, and he's learning to forgive himself and others. And, every human being goes through that. When we have something very challenging come through our way on the level of health, we cover all the areas of the heart. We just do. Okay, so unless you're somebody like Trump or Putin, I'm sure they're just vile. The crossroads, again, now this, as far as treatments, because we're veering into the future over here, as far as treatments go, this would be options. I like seeing that. This would be multiple opinions and all the diagnoses that he's had, right? And he may even have one female doctor that's been helping him, because this is the Queen of Diamonds, which is like the Queen of Pentacles in the tarot. So we're talking, very, very adept with the body. Okay, so now, I forgot to talk about the birds. The bird is what he's talking about. This is him going to clinics, and of course, I would think he goes to Walter Reed, but he may have been exploring another option and talking with people who are very caring and loving, and will give him the best, treatment plan and outcome. So, but the birds really does have to do with instincts, trusting your instincts and making connections, and it can have to do with just the therapeutic process. There are other cards that relate to that too, but because a lot of times the birds card will come through as the therapist, especially if it's like next to the dog, a helping therapist. But I think this is really just speaking to what I said. He's talking to other people. Okay, they're looking at the past. They're looking at pain management. This is a card, the bouquet is a card of recovery. The stars is a card of looking at all the other systems involved. We have the mountain that shows delays. Okay, here's our health card. Here's our card for surgery. Now we have the helpful, loyal. So there are, I think, a couple, at least two really good therapists, doctors. I mean, the dog card is our card for doctors, nurses. This is a very good sign. People who protect him. It's even a card of spirit guides. So yeah, but doctors, nurses, and therapists, okay? Same thing with up here. He's talking to, and he's going to the clinic. He's doing everything he can. Okay, now the Lily's card is a card of old age, okay? Down here we have the woman card. Now, of course, that could be Jill, but it's also, let me go out a little further since I do have room here. It's also the card of, when we're reading on the level of health, this would be hormone therapy. And they did say that that's how he's being treated. And I went through this with my dad. In fact, this is how my dad crossed over. So I know it well. They do, they do give hormone therapy to counteract the testosterone. Okay, so I believe that that's what this is, because here's a prescription. Here is, they're trying to reduce things that are problematic with the clouds up here. But you know what, let me stick in the center first for a second and work my way out. So here we have the health clinics. They're talking about surgery, if they could. They're talking about talking about options and alternate means of managing pain. Okay, the crosses are card for 1 to 6 months when it comes to timing, but it's a card of taking self-responsibility. I mean, we can look at it as being the body, the arms, and we're here. We each have a cross to bear, and it helps to have a tremendous amount of faith in yourself and faith in a higher power when we have to go through the most challenging issues in our lives. So he's going through a lot of deep self-reflection, and he's adapting, and I'm sure he's praying. I'm sure he has spoken with his pastor, minister, bishop, whomever it is that is his main go-to person. Again, the higher authority when it comes to the spiritual realm or religious realm, and he's going, and he has been going and speaking to him or her, whomever this is. The lily also reinforces that, because this is wisdom and harmony, but it's also, when it comes to health, on the level of health, these are these are old age, elderly problems, aging illnesses. Someone who's frail, and the recovery is, if there's any, it's very slow. With nighting out this way, I think I covered this because this is, I believe, the hormone therapy, bringing in some other, I don't know what feminine hormones to counter affect the testosterone. They did that with my dad too. And then with the tower, with connecting to the stork, so there is some recovery, there is some change, little bits of change, but it's slow. It might be blocked. I mean, we have troubles with the Mountain card. On the level of health, this would indicate, headaches and, but on another level too, this could be him going on spiritual retreat. This is often my card for, spas, things like that, a resting place where they can recuperate. But on another level, spiritually, right? Because we have these cards here, and then the bouquet, the flowers, has to do with recovery, but he's going to the place where he's facing his fears, and he's releasing, I would think, obstacles and releasing limiting beliefs, but he's also being patient. And when it comes to timing, it's delayed. With endurance, it can take months and years to get through something, but we have other cards over here to give us some timing. But I need to come up here first and then do the four corners. So with the clouds, right now it's a little bit unknown and uncertain. It's sad. It's he's feeling very insecure about his health situation, and who wouldn't going through this? So he's been having to wait. And with the tree, this really just indicates his health. Actually, it's like a person's life force. It's, it's the roots that we grew up in. It's our ancestry. It's a past life card that holds our karma, our DNA, everything there. But it's also nutrition. He may be exploring and wondering about, maybe I haven't been eating right. Maybe I need to, be careful. Maybe, we would go, any of us would go through those questions. So, Now, because the tree nights to the letter, I feel like we've got, or actually what the cards are indicating, is that we have a good system of health and prescriptions and care. He has a good protocol, a good, imagine this being like if you were in the hospital, like literally because this would be our hospital card, especially nighting to the tree and making decisions, right? And then you've got your I don't know what that, I'm not a nurse. I'm not that kind of nurse. I'm more of a soul doctor, but what is that when you go and you're in the hospital and they've got the it's more than a folder. It's you've got the clipboard with all your data, and they open it up and they go, okay, and everybody who's touched him and been near him and who's been helping him, the nurses and the doctors that are caring greatly, they're recording everything in great detail, and they're making sure that they're minimizing any challenges, any pain. They're working through it. So, yeah. Also, they're doing whatever they can to minimize stress. I think he's gotten a prescription, diagnosis, an order, some protocol to follow that says, cut down on the stress. Cut down on the stress, stop worrying, get your head clear, figure out what direction you want to go in, because ultimately he's the one who gets to decide how he wants to handle his care. And then down here with the stars in this diagonal here, because the tree is also knighting to the stars, so I'm going to cover this whole portion. With the stars, this is mapping out and planning your health care. But this is also something that is spreading. And we know it has metastasized into his bones. And that's, the mountain is our card for, this card is ruled by Saturn and Capricorn, so that would be the bones. So there's that. And they're trying to minimize the spread because that could give him more time and lessen the pain, lessen the suffering. So they're doing this. This tells me that they're doing really, really well, best they can. Going over here to the four corners. So here we have like I said, the protocol. They're kind of uncertain right now because I think they're waiting for him to make that decision. And he, I believe, with the garden card, because on the level of health, this is about networking with people and friends. And I don't know about friends so much, but I'm sure more his family. And this is also our card for a public figure. When it comes to timing, this could be, it's our card for any big social event, national holiday, and the 20 days, 20 days from now, or the 20th of any month. And the reason I'm going there is because we do have the coffin card here and the snake. So the change, now the stork, this part over here is really interesting, because when we're talking spiritual release and spiritual connection and, soaring above, graduating from this earthly plane, we get the stork close to the coffin. Or the ship, oftentimes the ship, but here we have, the ship and the coffin. If I get these cards with the client, I think, you have an inheritance coming. For him, it's more his earthly release, spiritual release, and I do think that of course, when he does cross over, whenever that is, let's say he lives another few years and everything's managed, which I don't know. I just, when it's metastasized into the bone and it's that, what is it, Gleason, you've got 1 through 10 and he's at 9. It's like, oh boy. Yeah. So with this, but back to the stork, on the spiritual level, it is moving to the highest state of consciousness. It's a spiritual evolution card. Other than that, it's about change and improvement, unless you're a woman, and then it can be about pregnancy, especially if the child card is nearby. But that's not the case here. So this is spiritual evolution and change. He's a beloved public figure, and when the time comes for him to transition to his next life, or go home, he's going to go home first. I don't know how long he's going to stay there, or how long before he comes back. This is a card of rebirth. You have to go through the transition to get the rebirth, but this is it, right? Now, on another level, This would be the doctor's advice to get a lot of rest and go to the peaceful place inside. Let go of the worry. These two cards mirroring each other tell me that the coffin card tells me to let go. The mouse card says, let go of worry, minimize stress. Doesn't do any good to worry. And I think that that's what he's doing. Now, with the snake card being the last card, it's a card of like winding timelines where you have to be, persistent. At the least, it's 7 days. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. And when it comes to timing, at the most, it can be seven weeks. But look at all of these transformative cards right here, and very peaceful. Here with the lilies. I'm glad that the lilies is at the center of this 9 box here. Yeah. Now, the scythe is making me wonder if he might have a surgery to try, but I don't know. When things are, I honestly feel like this is more to do with just a lot of the decision to have a lot of, well, yeah. Again, I think it's a warning. It's like, something he couldn't just let go, because it's mirroring the tree card. So this is like a major health warning, right? And yeah. So, because I can't imagine them doing surgery on him at that stage. And that's, yeah. But it is our card for injections. It is our card for sharp pains and issues sometimes with the bones. Yeah. I mean, remember, did he break his ankle? I know he had a neuroma in his foot, but I thought he broke his ankle one time, which was why he was having trouble walking, and it never really healed right. But anyway, so they're trying. I'm sure that it's just about minimizing pain and having the transition be as you can. I mean, again, the winding timelines. I think they're trying to keep him in a simple, peaceful place and not get into the sharp, painful areas of complications. It looks to me like surgery would complicate problems. And I think that might be why the mountain card is here, to say no surgery would be blocked because of the pain and because of the complications. Whew. Well, if this would be timing here, because the coffin card is hanging over, if we go with these 3 cards in the spiritual flight home, I don't have the home card here. If I saw that, I would be thinking you might just be staying home. But I think we could take that for granted anyway. But, staying home to get as much rest and treatment, of course, that's happening. But I'm wondering, too, about a spa retreat because of the lilies and everything else here. But then later on, as far as timing, like I said, with the garden card, it could be a public holiday. It could be a national holiday. Or it could also be the 20th of the month, or 20 days from now, but that's only 3 weeks away. That feels way too soon for me. With my dad, he was diagnosed in August, and he went home December, early December. So that's not very long. I hope it's more than 7 weeks, but a person goes whenever it's their time, it's painful for us to lose them, but they get to go home. They're graduating. So on one level, we should be celebrating the person in their life as much as we celebrated their birth, coming in. But he has had a very challenging life. He's had a lot of pain and loss and grief in his life. So now with the snake also being winding timelines and the stork being a change card here when it comes to timing, things can change. So with some other treatments like intravenous, wouldn't this probably be chemotherapy? Maybe? Oh yeah, definitely. So it's looking like he will go for chemotherapy. And yeah, but it's so hard. It's so hard. Yeah. So again, with the timing, I have a hard time giving a time. Maybe there's, maybe you guys can find some other answers out there, but I'm hesitant here because of the snake card being that winding timeline. And I know I'm sure it's not 7 days. 7 weeks would be, wow, I'd be surprised. But then again, maybe not. But because I have the letter card here and the snake card, I feel like this is chemotherapy. The mice too would also be indicative of chemotherapy because it is toxic. It takes us down to 0 and you either live or you don't. But they know nowadays how much to give. They know how aggressive to be with it. But when it's at that 9 or 10, because that's how it was with my dad too. So they have to do really aggressive chemo, and he had it once, and he said, "No, I'd rather die." He refused to do it the second time. But we're talking Joe Biden. He has the best of health care. He's able to have the support that he needs, and all of these cards reveal that. So, I guess I'll just leave it here because I'm kind of hesitant, except for to say they're trying to decide about chemo, but ultimately he has to make the decision, and I think he's trying to figure out what he wants to do with that as well. So, okay, thanks you guys. Take good care. Bye.